Hey guys, welcome back to TomGirl. This is season 1, episode 7, and we're with Chelsea Briggs, Billboard host and founder of Hollywire TV. So stay tuned.
You're tuning into the destination for TV superfan discussion, AfterBuzz TV. And now, let the buzz begin.
I remember syrup sandwiches and crime allowances for less a nigga with some.
Hey Chelsea, thank you so much for coming into the show today.
The ultimate pump of jam.
Exactly. We are fired up now, so we hope you guys are fired up too. So before we get going, tell everybody where they can follow you on social media.
Yeah, on Twitter, Instagram, it's at Chelsea_Briggs. So follow me, and I'll follow you back.
And she's got some great shots and really fun posts, so you're going to want to follow. Well, we're going to go way back. So I want to first start out by talking about little young Chelsea. So what were you like as a little kid? What was it like growing up in Michigan? Or is that where you grew up?
Yeah, yeah. You know, I've always been very adventurous. I was always kind of a bit of a workaholic. Like, I think I got my first job when I was 14 and just, you know, was always trying to like save money, and I was really involved in theater and choir, just always a performer of sorts. But yeah, always doing random fun things. Me and my friends would, we had like a jewelry company. We'd make like, whether it was hemp bracelets or beaded bracelets, we were always trying to like, we joke about it now because we were probably like the most annoying kids. We'd make our parents come and watch us like perform shows and get them to buy stuff from us. It was just a
You're
whole
pushing
thing.
your
But
kids.
yeah, but Michigan was fun. I mean, such a great place to grow up. Very humble beginnings. Yeah, I'm proud of where I'm from.
Is your family still back there?
They are, yeah.
You make it back there very much?
I try to, especially now. I feel like a lot of my friends are getting married and having kids, and so you try to, you know, I always told myself when I moved to California that I didn't want to miss out on those big opportunities, so, or those big opportunities, those big moments. So I try to go back as much as I can and just see them and be there for that, so.
So when was that decision when you were like, okay, it's time, I gotta go, I have this calling, I'm gonna leave Michigan and move to LA, or was there a stop before that, or what was your path?
You know, it's so funny, I feel like very early on, I always kind of knew that I wanted to come to California. I was always really fascinated by California and the industry. So when I was in college, I was very vocal about it always. Actually, my mom talks about how I was like 7 years old and I told her one day, like, I'm moving to California, Mom, you know, and I was like, so I always knew, I was prepared that it was where you kind of were going to end up. But after college, I mean, I graduated, I went to Central Michigan, and I took a year to save money and then kind of made the move. So yeah, I mean, obviously being in this industry, you have to be here in New York. I did my internship in New York, so I love New York. New York's amazing, such a great, energetic city, but California I feel like is my home, and I love it here. So, but yeah, it's cool too. And where are you from again?
I'm from Nebraska, but I did the same thing.
Yeah.
I did an internship in New York, and then I did one out here, and then it
was like the little taste of it.
Yeah,
Like,
I knew. But which is a great way for people out there, if you're making a decision. I think internships are the best way to go to get a feel. And
that is like the biggest thing. And I remember for me, I knew right away that I wanted to intern at MTV in New York. And like, I remember family and friends being like, well, Chels, like, maybe you should just start like a local news station. And I was like, no, I'm not gonna do it. Like, I want the, like, very stubborn. That's how I was as a kid, very stubborn, strong-willed. And I remember I applied for the internship 3 years in a row, didn't get it didn't even get, you know, wasn't even considered the first year. Second year, applied. I ended up flying out there for like a second interview, didn't get it, was just heartbroken, applied a third year, and finally got it. But it was just that, it's sort of that.
Persistence.
Persistence is so important in this industry. So, yeah, it was definitely, I was very stubborn. And I say that, I think you can, if you have a place you want to intern, do it. Go there, you know, even if you have to apply 3 times in a row, it's important to kind of find that place where you feel like will sort of set you up.
I agree too, and I think it's also the best foot in the door, because if you get in there and you do a really good job and you prove it, can lots of times lead to a longer job and a place where you can stay.
And my MTV contacts friends, I mean, I have best friends there that I met from my internship or just from working there afterwards, after college, but those are my contacts in the industry, you know, those are my people, and so that's where you kind of start building, and you know, in this industry, it's all about who you know, and, you know, not burning bridges, and just kind of, a lot of times I feel like this industry can get that rap where it's all about, you know, tearing each other down, and it's competitive and this, and sure, it can be competitive, but I think that there's room at the top for everyone, and that's what's really cool. You know, with me, we know each other through mutual friends, and I have a lot of host friends, a lot of producer friends, and we all sort of build each other up, and I think that that's, you know, really important.
I agree too, especially with women too. You hear a lot about it being catty, but yeah, we've all managed to find a great group that we're like, I'm so happy for your success, Whitney's success. Like, we all want to help each other and build each other. Yeah, and I think it's great to find that.
And don't get me wrong, like, we've experienced, I'm sure you have too, you've experienced sort of people in the industry that maybe don't think that same way, but I think that having come across those individuals, it's made me kind of sit there and be like, okay, I know for sure I don't want to be like that person. It sort of makes you stronger, because you it's you know, it can be tough, but
yeah, definitely. And you weed out, and you just, I think, end up finding your core little group too, which I think is nice in a city that can be so tough.
Yeah.
So what kind of things did you have to do on your internship?
We did everything. Okay, so it was really cool because I worked on the show TRL, and it was like the last year that it was on. So, you know, it wasn't Carson Daly TRL, it was Damian Fahey TRL, but it was, so I remember it was like my first view of the industry, and like seeing even like celebrities and kind of being in that environment. So, you know, lots of getting coffee, clearly, but we had to do some cool things. We were on set, we were like, you know, running tapes to and from the edits. We were but I loved every minute of it, even though I was that intern that was probably like kind of annoying, because I was always like just like bright-eyed and wanting to do anything I could do, you know. So yeah, a lot of random things.
Do you remember that first time you were on the set?
Oh, yeah. I remember Maroon 5 walked by me and being like, oh my God, that's Adam. Oh, wow. Oh, he's very handsome in real life, but sort of that first, you know, being from the Midwest, it's like you're not used to being around that. And definitely it was something that you had to get used to a little bit, you know.
That's great. So then talk about the decision to come out.
Yeah,
to California.
So you know, it was one of those moments where I knew I was going to move here, and I actually got this job right out of college where I was working, because I majored in broadcasting journalism. I knew that I always wanted to be a host. It was something that hosting, producing, being creative was always what I wanted to do. But because I was trying to save money, I got a job at this radio. It was like a radio advertising company. So I was sitting in a cubicle and putting in numbers the entire time. Like, so not my personality, sitting in a cubicle. But I ended up actually getting laid off. And I was there for a year. I made great friends there, but it was kind of one of those things where the company was just, you know, downsizing. And even though it was like one of those, like, I knew, everyone in the company knew that I was going to move to California, and they knew that I wasn't going to be there forever. But I remember that moment of being like, oh my gosh, I got laid off. Like, this is I just got out of college. Like, but at the same time, because when I got laid off, it forced me to move to LA like 3 months earlier than I was going to. And you know, you look back on those moments and like everything happens for a reason. And it was those three months when I met all the people that I've met, and I got, you know, the internship at Hollywire during those 3 months that I probably wouldn't have gotten if I had waited. So it was one of those moments of like, when something bad happens in life, there's always a reason for it, you know? So yeah,
such a true lesson. I think every time, if you just let go and realize, okay, something else is waiting there for me, or this was meant to be, something's going to happen.
Yeah.
So Hollywire was your first internship and kind of working job out here?
No. I mean, when I first came out here, I worked on The Bachelor, actually.
I like these stories, because everybody has funny little jobs where they first started on.
So
The Bachelor,
I was doing a lot of production stuff. I actually did a lot of jobs here. My mindset when I came here was, and you can probably relate to this too, where I was like, okay, the hardest thing is I just need to buy that one-way ticket, and then once I get there, it's like just work to live. Like whatever that, like I'm not above anything. I'm not above being a waitress. I'm not above, like, I will do whatever I have to do. I just need to get there and then sort of build out, you know? But so one of the first jobs I did was I was a logger on The Bachelor. It was a good, actually a really fun job, but it was a night logger, so I worked from like 6 p.m. to 4 a.m. In Santa Monica in this little room, but it was fun because if you guys are fans of The Bachelor and Bachelorette, I was just looking through all this footage the whole time, just like logging, and I'm like, you know, you're getting into it, you're seeing how the producers interact with the contestants, and so it was a very interesting job, really fun. I did that for a couple seasons, and then I remember one of the most random jobs I did out here was I worked for a moving company. And I helped, basically I would help organize people's like pantries and their closets. So it was like we'd be in these like mansions and we'd have to like just organize their stuff, you know. It was like one of those like funny jobs that, I did so many little things like that
to get by
in LA. You just figure it out, you know.
We have such a similar past because my first job was working for Big Brother. And I remember when I got hired, same thing. I moved out from here and people were like, you don't have a job, you shouldn't go to it. I'm like, I gotta be there to get one and figure it out. So I'll just go. Really 2 weeks later, went in to CBS, and there's like, we're starting this new show. It's called Big Brother. It will probably only be around this summer, but if you want to work this summer, it's fine. And now, like 17 years later, it's still going.
It's still killing it.
But my job was logging the footage too, so I had to watch, all 24 hours, which was fascinating because when you do that, you really see the way things shifts and the alliances and how they change.
It teaches you a lot.
Yeah,
you're like, oh wait a minute, this isn't. Reality TV isn't as organic as you think, and you're like, you're like looking back, you're like, The Hills wasn't really there, was it? Like,
doesn't it change the way you watch everything now?
Absolutely, So definitely, you look all those things. They help you learn from them. It's fun. So, but then I got Hollywire probably like 3 months after I came out here, but it's funny because I was kind of in this weird crossroad place where I was just doing a lot of production jobs, freelance. I was working for MTV doing like freelance jobs and a lot of their award shows, but just as like a production assistant, nothing spectacular. And I remember a friend gave me advice. They were like, well, Chelsea, because I hadn't really been on camera, or I mean, I had back in college, but not like, and I knew, making that move from being behind the camera to in front of it, it was not an easy thing, And once you start building your path as a producer, it's hard to sort of like break that. So I had a friend that gave me advice, and they said to me, you should find, and I don't know if you can do this now, but they said, I know, you graduated college, you don't want to do another internship, but you should find a company you can see yourself working your way up at and work for free again. Like, I know it's, you might still have to be a night logger. You've worked in the day as an intern and be a night logger at night, but like, just find a way to sort of like get your foot in the door in a place. And so I started looking for internships instead of jobs at this point. And it's like, it's like you feel like you're taking a step back because you already graduated college. And but I found Hollywire and sort of and kind of went to them, and it was a new adventure, but it was, looking back, it's crazy how it kind of worked out.
But talk about that, how that was such a good risk that you took, taking maybe less money, less status at the time to do that, where then now you grew that into being like the founder of it, having girls that work for you. Talk about your evolution there.
Yeah, definitely. So when I went in there, it was sort of like not the start of YouTube, but it was when things were sort of just picking up, and I was really passionate about obviously wanting to grow. For us that sort of graduated in that generation, we kind of had this sense of like, okay, online video is the next big thing, and I wanted to learn more about it and be a part of it. So I kind of, when I went into to interview for the internship, I said, I'll work for you guys for free if you let me build out your video department, programming, and sort of, had no clue what I was doing. But I'm like, oh, totally, like, I'll just like email publicists and like get on red carpets and like no big deal. Oh my gosh, like, it's so funny.
Fake it till you make it, right?
Oh my God. It's like embarrassing looking back. I'm like, what did those emails say? Like, I don't know. But yeah, it was myself and another girl at the time who was equally motivated as I was. And we sort of were like, yeah, we can do this. So we started reaching out to publicists. And it was kind of before online video was massive. So like, we would get on carpets, but we'd be like one of 5 maybe online outlets on carpets, and we'd be like sitting there filming each other and like with handheld cameras and just hustling it, like and kind of building it that way, so worked to build out the video department, and then within a couple years, just like things within the company changed, and it was sort of all of a sudden people left, people came, and I kind of just became part owner of it, because it was sort of like what we were doing was really more where it was going. It wasn't so much the website that was successful, it was more like the video side of things. So it came to a crossroad where a girl that I was sort of running things with ended up leaving the company. So I was sort of at a place where I had to either, and we weren't really successful at this time, we were like kind of seeing some success, or at least were making a name for ourselves in the company, but I was kind of like, okay, I'm either gonna leave as well because I don't know, I don't know what to do from here on out, or I'm going to stay and like figure out a way to make it successful. So obviously I chose the latter, and still, mind you, didn't really have much of an idea of what I was doing, but knew that I was motivated and knew. And one thing I did is I actually ended up reaching out to this like producer in the industry who I really looked up to. She had worked at a ton of, she had worked at E! and Entertainment Tonight, and I had just heard her name. I knew she was sort of like this badass lady that I knew that if I brought her in, I was terrified because I knew she'd be like, okay, she would either be like, you suck and you're never going to be a host, and maybe she would do that, but she'd hopefully help me or direct me. And so I brought her in. And she sort of helped me come up with like a business plan and helped sort of like coach me and just build out Hollywire as sort of a mentor. And that was a big turning point, because then it was sort of, I'm sitting there just figuring out what are the next steps to do kind of by myself. So it was really scary, and I had a team underneath me, but they're kind of like, okay, Chelsea, it's up to you now. And I'm like, what? All right. And then I think the most rewarding part was that we sort of taking a vision and making it into something, and actually having people respond and want to watch and want to be a part of our, our network and our journey. So that was really cool.
So what kind of steps did you do to like change it when you were like, okay, I got to do this?
Yeah, I think, one thing was just doing things the right way. Because I think a lot of times companies, like, things cost money, and, cutting corners is very much something that people do. And this is, like, so boring stuff, but, like, getting a Getty Images account so you're not stealing images. Stuff like that just, like, you're like, okay, I know we're not going to, like, big picture. I know we're not going to make it be successful if we're doing things the wrong way. So let's not cut corners anymore. Bringing other hosts on that can kind of, actually I didn't bring hosts on right away, but eventually bringing on other hosts to sort of create more content and diversity. And I think just the biggest thing was just consistency. So rebranding it into something that we thought was really cool at the time, and then consistent. So instead of uploading, 2 videos a week, it was 2 to 4 videos a day, and really honing in on kind of the voice of myself as a host, and then also of the company, really kind of figuring out what that was and what was that tagline, and that's something that takes a lot of hard work and sort of digging. And I'm sure as a host, like, not only do you have to do it once, but you have to sort of reinvent your voice many times throughout your career, and I think that's the most challenging part. But I remember the first time really just kind of figuring out, okay, what do I stand for? What do I want people to take away from being a fan of myself and of this company? And yeah, I think that it was kind of just really honing in on that. And yeah.
How many people did you bring it? So were you writing everything and shooting it and then hosting it?
Oh, yeah.
And then how about the graphics? Because I know the site has really great graphics. And
hired out for it. A lot of the stuff just kind of through the lady that I brought on. Her name's Robin Radin, in case I should give her a shout out. Do you know Robin?
I was going to ask, but I didn't know if you could say, because it was kind of, yes, I know Robin. Yeah,
she's the best. She's going to love that I just gave her a shout out. But she kind of, just through her and people in the industry that knew other people or recommended graphic people or social media people or whoever, just kind of, like, I literally was in this, like, I don't know what I'm doing, so I just want to learn everything, and I want to talk to as many people as I can talk to and just figure it out, and cross my fingers and, like, say a prayer and hope. But like, I'm such a believer in, like, putting it out there and, like, manifesting stuff, and what you put out there is what you get back. I was always just sort of, like, putting it out there and just kind of, it's like, if at the core what you believe is, like, is something that's really great and could be really great, it hopefully will be with, like, the right people in place.
Exactly. And I think with you, I mean, you're so, like, honest and personable, and just girls can relate to you too. So I think that definitely helps pick it up. People see that and relate to you and want to watch you, And
Thanks.
so when you're passionate about it, then that makes everybody else passionate about it too.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. So now in present day, how many videos do you put up per day?
So with Hollywire, so it's kind of different because I'm kind of doing a couple things right now, but with Hollywire, I want to say we're doing about 2 a day at this point. Just kind of depends, 2 to 4 a day.
And you cover trends, pop culture, celebrity?
Yeah, we've kind of shifted a little bit more to, like, lifestyle type stuff, and I have 2 amazing hosts, Carly and Electra, who hold down the fort when I'm not there, and they're awesome. And so we do a lot of, like, lifestyle stuff, like try the trend, still, like, entertainment news, very music focused. We, like, love music. So it's kind of just whatever we think we want to talk about and what's kind of, trending at the moment.
And what's your studio space like? Did you rent a place? Did you build something? Yeah.
Well, because I was in we have, like, a parent company, so they had this, like, massive space, which we were lucky, but our studio is small. I mean, it's, like, half the size of this room that we're in right now. I know you guys can't see the room, but it's tiny. I mean, it's small. People come in, they're like, oh my gosh, this is like, I'm claustrophobic just like standing in here. It's tiny, definitely, like, you know.
I love that, though. That's what I think people need to see if you're out there wanting to start your own YouTube channel and do things like that. You don't have to have a giant studio. You can just put one little place where you can just set up your camera shot and make it happen.
In this day and age, too, with, like, YouTube and, I mean, even just, like, having your phone in your hand, like, you don't need a lot, you know, and that's what's kind of cool about it.
Definitely. All right, so transition to, was the next step from that Billboard, or was there anywhere in between?
Yeah, I think, well, because of Hollywire and, like, having the success, the bit of success that it's had, a lot of cool opportunities have come out of it for me, which has been really, really, like, such a blessing and so great, and have, like, taught me so much in my way, because, you know, I don't know, as a host, it's like, there's just, like, you know, you're constantly learning from everything you're put in, whether it's like a live thing, whether it's just interviews, whether it's covering certain events, you know, so a lot of cool things. I've done a lot of stuff for like Dick Clark Productions, which is an amazing company to work for, doing live red carpets, also very much a learning experience, doing live for the first time. Now I feel like with Facebook Live, we're all kind of more used to doing live stuff, but oh man, when I first did it, it was like, I'm such a like tough critic too. Are you like that too?
Oh yeah, I hate watching myself back, and I'll replay things like the whole all night, like after something like that too. Like, oh, why did I say that?
This?
Or why did
why didn't I handle the situation this way?
Was that Grammys? Was that your first red carpet?
So first red carpet, like live with Dick Clark, was American Music Awards. Yeah, so yeah, it was frantic and crazy. It was good. Definitely learning experience. I got yelled at by fans because because it was a really we were interviewing One Direction, and it was a really hectic interview, and so like out of just needing to control the situation, I like grabbed Harry Styles' arm like this and was like, all right, let's do this interview now. Like, this is the only way I'm going to get your guys' attention. Yeah. So we were like live, and I got yelled at by fans for doing that. So I'm sorry.
For touching him, or they wanted to
touching him. So I still feel a little bit bad about that. But
I bet they have some dangerous fans too that you might not want to piss off, right?
It was, I said something to him actually. I interviewed him like that next year, and I was like, Harry, your fans got mad at me for touching me, or for touching you, or grabbing you. Do you remember that interview? I was like, you weren't paying attention, and he was like, sorry, you know, his like adorable accent, but yeah, so it was hectic and crazy, and it's hard for me to watch that interview back, but. Okay.
Was there an interview that, because I know you go on site and do a lot of, was there one that you were like so excited for? I mean, I know they're all great, but was there one that was just somebody that you
so excited about? Oh, that's so hard. I'm like, I answer this question different every time. Okay, who do I want to say right now? Because I literally changed this. There's a lot, you know, like it just depends, but
and I'm sure they're all so different and have things weird. You like.
You know what's so funny? Like I get stars. You know, maybe I don't get starstruck so much anymore, but you definitely, there's certain people that you're just, that it's like the weirdest people that you're excited about. For example, I was a huge fan of Full House growing up, specifically Mary-Kate and Ashley Olsen, and it is their birthday today. I know this because I was a part of the Mary-Kate and Ashley Olsen club. If anyone else is out there, please comment in the comments below because we can exchange stories. So I was a huge fan of Full House. I remember the first time I interviewed Candace Cameron Bure. I was just like really excited and fangirling in that. And now it's like I've interviewed her so many times. She came running up to me at a red carpet, I think it was like Kids' Choice, and was like, I want you to meet my daughter. She's a huge fan of yours. And I was like, what? She only knew that this, like, I'm having a fan. Like, you know?
Yeah,
but it's just like, it's cool because then you kind of like gain their trust, and she's awesome. But that was cool. I love Ed Sheeran. I've always been a huge fan of him before he was even a big deal. And so when I finally got to interview him, I remember like being really sweaty and like my producer at the time, I was sitting there and I was like, he's coming. It's going to be okay. Just like pep talk me for a second. Like, are we going to be, you know, I was really nervous about that. Same with One Direction, because I was still am a big One Direction fan, but I remember like, just, you know, it's like people you cover that you genuinely love and respect. Who else? Gosh. Those are the ones that are coming to mind right now. I feel like I'm a big fan of, like, music's so big for me. So, like, there's a lot of musicians that I get really excited about. I interviewed Madonna this year, which was really cool. Big fan of Andrew McMahon, who, like, was in Something Corporate, Jack's Mannequin, and then now he's Andrew McMahon in The Wilderness. So I was really excited when I interviewed him. Yeah, there's a ton here and there, but then it's like there's other ones that people think you'd be more excited about, and then you're just used to doing it. You're like, I just had to get a good soundbite. Like, it was just more of a job,
Exactly.
So, but.
Well, speaking of the job, walk us through like your day to day now at Billboard, because I know your little message pops up in my inbox every morning when I go to work. Yeah, I see your little video.
Oh yeah.
So yeah, talk to me about making those each day.
Yeah, definitely. So Billboard's been awesome. Such a cool company to work for. So basically, I mean, I'm in the office at 7 a.m. 5 days a week, and then we work really closely with editorial, so it's very much about what they're publishing on the website, and based on that and kind of what's trending, what's charting is what we kind of will make videos about. So going from off of their stories and making our own videos out of them. So write the script and then work closely with a video editor and producer to kind of bring it all together, and we do usually 3 to 4 a day. So, filming those, and then sometimes there's interviews, artist interviews. I've been doing a lot of festival coverage for them. So, did 2 75-minute live shows from Coachella. So, that was crazy. And with those shows, me and my producer basically like wrote those scripts, produced all the segments, and like, so if we have something like that going on, obviously our days are much longer. So it'll be get your 3 to 4 videos up, and then you're staying in the office to kind of hash all that out. So always stuff going on in this industry. There's never really much of a break, but yeah, it's fun.
Yeah,
so.
And festivals are huge out here. So you went to Coachella and Stagecoach.
Yes.
And tell me about both of them.
Oh, so fun. Oh my gosh. I met up with a girlfriend of mine who actually we interned together at MTV one of the last nights I was there, and we were like laughing. We were like, we like Festival Chelsea and Dina. Like, we're fun. Like, we were like just joking because it's so much fun. Like,
that sounds like a rom-com, like
right?
girls movie.
And just so much fun. So obviously Coachella and Stagecoach are very different. Stagecoach is all country for those of you who don't know, and Coachella is like Kendrick Lamar and Lorde, and but it's also an array of music too. But I don't really know which one I liked more because they were both really awesome and fun in their own ways. But just so much fun. Like I don't even know. Lots of dancing. The first weekend I was working, so I didn't really get to go to a lot of the shows, but the second weekend I definitely had some fun. So just all dancing. Have you ever been?
I have not.
You need to go.
I told you I've had tickets for Stagecoach the last 3 years, and then I haven't been able to go because of work. But next year I'm going.
And like the best thing is I'm such a people watcher. Oh my gosh, I can literally just sit there in the polo fields and be a creeper and just like watch people. So you definitely get, I'm both very different, sometimes there's not a lot of clothes. Sometimes there's crazy outfits. It's fun. And I also like love the festival environment where people are just like willing to like meet people and hang out, and it's really fun,
That's what I would think would be great too, because it's not that far out of LA. It's an hour and a half, 2 hours away, but you just get such a different feel when people are free and away from the city and just all together or something like that. I think it'd be great.
And it's like everyone just it's like, I mean, music is the language. We all share. Everyone loves music, so it's cool to sort of like bond with people over that,
Craziest thing you saw there?
Ooh, craziest thing I saw. I don't know. Oh my gosh. Why is nothing coming to mind right now?
You can think on that one too.
I know. I
thought there might be something that we're like, oh yeah, I saw this one person.
I mean, I saw a lot of crazy things. I saw a lot of butt cheeks. I'll tell you that much. A lot of pants that weren't really pants and shorts that weren't really shorts. So that's it. It's something's gonna come to me like really big in a second, and I'll blurt it out.
Yeah, go for it.
But yeah, it's fun. If you guys haven't gone, you should go. It's a good time.
So what is there anything that surprised you about working for Billboard, or something that you're just really enjoying the most?
Yeah, well, I think it's cool, like coming from a company like Hollywire, and I'm still doing stuff with Hollywire, but it's nice to finally work for, we've spent so many years building up the name and building somewhat of trying to build a clout with a company that no one knew, so it's like still to this day you'll be in a carpet and people will be like, what's Hollywire, who's Hollywire, like what, and obviously you're very proud. You're like, listen, we have so many subscribers. Like we've been around for a while, and you also like. I'm proud of the fact that because it came from nothing to something, and we built a lot of a lot of contacts in the industry, a lot of relationships with artists and actors and stuff, and there's something really cool about that. But there is something really nice also about working for a brand now that is known and that has respect already, and people know Billboard, so there's something really cool about that, and I love interviewing musicians, so it's fun like actually focusing just on that. So what surprised me, I guess, you know, with like in a corporate company, I'm used to being my own boss. So like I'm used to kind of calling the shots and having final say. So obviously at Billboard, it's not like that. You know, there's so many people that have an opinion, and their opinion's way more important than my opinion. So like, I think there's that a little bit. And also I think just, there's still growing pains, you know, it's not perfect. And I think that's one thing that people don't realize. I think with every job you get in this industry, it's not going to be perfect, you know, and there's going to be highs to it, there's going to be lows to it, and there's going to be things that you don't realize that just aren't that aren't the perfect situation. So I think with that, it's like there's growing pains still, you know. Video is very new for them in a way, or at least the news department. So, you know, we're still struggling with how to do things and what that looks like and what they want. And yeah, it's just it's a learning experience, you know. So but definitely, like, no job is perfect, you know, but it's all you learn from it.
Yeah. So where do you see yourself in the future? What things would you like to accomplish?
Yeah, I think so I feel like obviously it's kind of changed a little bit. Like I've always seen myself doing some sort of like live music related pop culture show. I like loved TRL obviously, and being a part of it was so great. So maybe a show kind of like that's just sort of fun and kind of is that entertainment release for kind of whether it's the younger generation or that teen generation. I think that there's something really fun with that. But I also think as someone who is a part of kind of the entertainment industry, I think it's really important to have sort of like a bigger picture with what you want to sort of like put out there and spread. So I think doing some sort of show that spread a great message or was helping people out, I think that's something that's definitely like, you know, my brain is sort of trying to figure out what exactly that is. But and also just being a good role model and a good example to people, because like, look, we're all humans, and I mean this industry, you know, it can tear you down. It's tough. Like, it's not I think I've learned so much about myself, and I'm still like learning. So I think at the end of the day, just kind of being a good example and like teaching people that it's okay to be yourself, but it's also like okay to be insecure, and it's okay to like, you know, not be perfect at what you want to do, because it's just not the reality of things, you know. Yeah,
and the more you hear other hosts or other people in the industry talk, that everybody goes through that. And I think sometimes it's hard to remind yourself of that when you're having those lows there's
so many moments too, like where I've had just like tough times in the industry where I'm like, oh, I'm not good enough, I'm not this, I'm not that, and then I've talked to like other hosts in the industry that I really look up to, and I'll be like, listen, do you feel this way? And they're like, yes, oh my gosh, don't worry, you're fine, like, you know. So I think it's I don't know. It's you look back on like old interviews or old videos you did, and I'm sure you do the same thing, and you're just like, oh my gosh, like I would have, you know, I was awful, or like, and then, but it's such a growing, it's a process, you know. Yeah. So
I agree, and what's hard is because of course there's comments, and you see comments or whatever too. But yeah, I agree.
Don't read those comments on a bad day, because you will consider changing your career path, right? Because it's happened to me.
But you know, I guess I mean, I see you and I think you're wonderful and amazing.
Thank you.
It's
I feel
thanks. But I feel like, just let those people go too.
Totally.
You know, it's like, because for all of them, there's a million that love you, and that like,
absolutely.
You know, so and it takes lots of times. It's so much easier for people behind the computer to like say mean things or whatever than to put themselves out in your position where you are you have to be live. You have to know names. You have to know questions. You have to look, you know, smart. You have to like. There's so much stuff you have to do, you know, all at once. That's hard to juggle.
And everyone has bad days too, you know. So it's like you'll see it happening to someone else, where maybe a host, you know, has like a bad interview or something, and you're like, it's okay, I feel you. Like we've all done there, you know, we've all been there. It's just it's a funny industry.
Not an office job where you can go just shut yourself in your office and be like, I'm not talking to people today. You have to turn it on.
Definitely, every single time. But it's fun, and also so appreciative for like people that are supportive, and you know what, even like when you get bad comments or you get bad feedback, or I cannot even tell you how many people, especially in the beginning, were like, would make comments to me about like, you're not good enough. Maybe not, they don't say that exact thing, but would make you feel that way. But I feel like that's been such a motivation for me over the years, you know. It's just sort of like proving them wrong and kind of just going about it and fighting to the top. Yeah.
Well, I can see you. I think you're going to, in the future, you're going to come up with this music show that you have, and then you're going to pitch it, and you're going to produce it and host it yourself.
Awesome.
And sell it. So there you go.
And then maybe I'll be interviewing you on it.
I can't
Have
sing,
you come
but-
on? Still, you can just come on and co-host with me.
Okay, I would love to. Deal. Done. You heard it here today. We'll do that in 5 years. You'll see it. All right. Well, actually, first, before we have a little game to play.
Okay,
just
cool.
a couple questions. But before I do that, I want to see if you can offer advice to anybody out there who might be wanting to pursue the same sort of career path that you did.
Yeah. Well, I think the internship thing is big. What we were just talking about. Get a good internship and fight for that internship, because persistence is a good thing. Do it. I think one thing I would say is don't be above any job. Meaning, like, don't, because I feel like I've had a lot of friends, or maybe not even friends, but just that they'd get offered something and it's like, oh, it's not enough money, or it's this or it's that, and they're picky about it. And I don't know, I think it's really important to take opportunities, and obviously it needs to be something that you're comfortable with and that you feel like is on brand. But if you're not, like, there's so many jobs that I would have probably just done for free because it was a good opportunity, or I did do for free because it was, I met cool people through it or whatever. But from every opportunity you do, it's an experience. It's another way of nailing something and gaining confidence, you know. It's another way of meeting new contacts and just learning. So I think, and so many things have come out, so many other opportunities have come out of things that I did that were maybe for free or whatever. So you just never know. So I think just, like, learn as much as you can, take on as many opportunities as you can, even if you feel like, you know, you're not getting paid what you should. It's like, don't be entitled. Like, just do it. Just do it, because I think if you really love it and you really want to be a host or be in this industry, like, you know, just really go for it and do it with your whole self, your whole being.
I totally agree. And people notice that too. Other people that you might even know are watching or will pay attention and notice your attitude and your willingness to do, you know, whatever job with a good attitude.
Yeah, and also just be nice to yourself. Like, just be nice to yourself, because there's so many times, like we were saying, you're so hard and you can be so hard on yourself. But I think just have faith in yourself and just do it, you know?
Good advice. Good advice. Okay, we're going to wrap up because I know we're just about out of time here, but we got a little quick game.
Okay.
I'm just going to ask you. So this is called Briggs Digs.
Ooh.
Okay, so just quick questions.
Okay.
East Coast or West Coast?
West Coast.
Beer or liquor?
Beer.
City boys or country boys?
City boys.
Favorite place to travel?
Ooh. I'm going to go ahead and say Hawaii.
And you might have said this one, but place you want to travel to?
I really want to go to Bali this year. I really want to do a lot of traveling this year. That's one thing I wish I had more traveling under my belt. So I'm trying to go to more places. So Bali.
All right. Most embarrassing moment?
Oh my gosh, there's so many. Which one should I do? I trip a lot. I'm pretty clumsy. So there's that. Lots of embarrassing hosting moments, sure. I'm just going to take it back to junior year of high school. I was in the choir. This doesn't have anything to do with singing, though, but I was at a pool party with my choir friends, guys and girls, and we were playing volleyball, and my top came down, and I didn't realize for a minute as I was playing volleyball. I'm going to go with that one right now.
I bet the boys in the pool would not call that your most embarrassing moment. They were probably very
But for
happy.
years, I wouldn't wear those triangle bikinis because I was scarred. So I was only the tube top ones. Oh my gosh, yeah. So
good one. Good one. All right, the thing that makes you the happiest?
My family and friends. Cool. And hiking. I love hiking.
Where do you hike out here?
I go to Runyon, the hard way on Runyon, but that's sort of like my meditating place where I go meditate and just sort of be alone and collect my thoughts and collect my saneness.
Your favorite movie?
Pretty Woman.
Celebrity crush?
Harry Styles. Justin Timberlake also. And I know I'm missing some others. Ed Sheeran. You know, he's just so good.
Yeah. He is awesome. Incredible. He could sing all day
Who's
long.
yours? You have to ask
Adam
them.
Sandler.
Oh.
I love him so much.
The humor. We
Yeah,
like the
it's the
humor.
humor, yeah.
There's something about a guy with a good personality
His
and
song
a good
that
sense of
he
humor.
plays in Wedding Singer on the plane.
Oh, yeah.
Someday.
Wait, what is it? What is it?
I Want to Grow Old With You.
Sing it.
No. That would be my most embarrassing moment. But someday, if I ever get married, that will be played at that event.
Oh, I love that. I'm putting that out there. That's cool.
All right, last one. Something people would be surprised to know about you.
When I was, I hit the microphone. When I was 12 years old, I actually had my leg lengthened to 3 inches. Oh. I was born with one leg shorter than the other. And so it didn't stop me. I still was like in soccer and doing plays and just being, you know, but as I got older, it like didn't catch up. Mm-hmm. So I had to wear like a lift on my shoe, and which adds character. But I actually, when I was 12, they like, because the discrepancy was so much, they actually lengthened my leg. I had like this, it's such a crazy procedure, but I had like 7 pins in my leg for 9 months and like this like bar on my leg, and they had to basically stretch my bone. Wow. Which is really crazy. So yeah, so that was, I was in a wheelchair. I was on crutches for like a year, and it definitely like, yeah, built character for sure. So.
And then it's been good ever since.
Yeah, I'd say so. Yeah. I think so. I think I'm pretty even. But yeah, I think it was just something, it's just a part of, I like, you know, you forget when those kinds of things happen, but then I look back and it's like, it's such a part of who I am. Yeah. Yeah. So that's that.
All right, well, that's it for the game. Thanks so much for playing.
Yeah, of course. Thanks so much for having me. This has been so fun.
Yeah, thank you for taking the time. That's awesome. Well, before we go, each week we pick a TomGirl of the week. So I think up on the screen we'll put up our TomGirl of the week for this week. So we have Jessie Graff. She's from American Ninja Warrior. The show just started back up this week, so it made me think of her, and I love her. She was the first woman to finish the Stage 2 of Vegas course and set many other records for the show. And she also, continuing our Wonder Woman theme here for the last couple of weeks, she did do the course in a Wonder Woman outfit, which I love so much too. And other than that, she also went to the University of Nebraska, where I went as well, and she was a pole vaulter there. So go Big Red.
Look at that bod. Get it, girl.
I know, right? Look at those abs. Motivation. That will be up on our wall for summer.
Seriously.
All right. Well, thank you so much. It's been such a pleasure. Tell everybody one more time where they can follow you at on social media.
Yeah, come hang out with me, Chelsea_Briggs. It's CHELSEA_BRIGGS, and I'll see you there.
All right, guys, we will see you here next week. Thanks for watching us. Bye-bye.
Bye.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.